Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I am very perplexed. We as Americans, we hold ourselves up as being uniquely qualified to guide other nations in the way of living. It amazes me how the people of this country engage themselves in so many of the things that are common, and one of them being religion. They go to various different denominations, which really is an expression of a little different view of the words that they all refer to. We call them scriptures. And so, because of that little distinction, they are under other names and rules and regulations. But all of them talk about a wonderful God, a God of love who have given them, many of them, permission and duty to go around and spread the good news of this God and this God's purpose to all of the brethren and sisters on earth, so that they will know that even though they can't see God visibly, they can tell that God exists by all of the things that do exist, that man could never have done anything to play a part in the existence thereof. So there definitely is a God, somebody bigger than you and I. You are I. And people actually pray, reaching out the best they know how to that spirit, giving them some information that would help guide them in the paths that they are lacking. And yet, when the information comes that explains how that is to be achieved, it is rejected at all corners. Rejected at all corners. And then the opposite of what it is all about comes on the scene. And it's like striking a match to dry straw. It just burns everywhere. People are drawn. And like the fire spreading, this is that message that is spreading, and people are grasping it. And just like that grass or that straw that get burned up, the fire keeps going. But aftermath, that's burn, that's what happens when you grab onto lies. That's what happens when you choose a wrong path. Oh, it might look exciting in the beginning. You might think you're going somewhere, but if you look back behind you, you will see how much damage you caused. But usually by that point, you're having so much fun messing over people that you don't even care. Well, this thing that really bothers me is that I put myself in a position to know exactly what I'm talking about. I keep thinking about how people in business, the number one concern is their ability to rip you off. They say it's about service, but it's also about the ability to rip you off. They must be able to rip you off. What happens if they can't rip you off? They go out of business. They go out of business. If they can get no more back than what they give, they're wasting time. So how do they get more? They got to concoct something out of you when they gonna get more out of you than what you're getting back. For instance, a gallon of gas might cost 15 cents one day, $3 the next, but you only get 1 gallon of gas. It seems that that would be something easy to understand, that you're getting ripped off. If you're working for $2 a day or $1 an hour versus $1 million a year or more, there's a disparity there somewhere, because each individual, regardless of their rate of pay, requires the same things for survival, or desire them. mostly, and you can't do it at $1 an hour, especially if somebody has got 100,000 to pay. So what we have is a system that's designed. It is programmed into people just like the language. Most Americans who grew up here can speak some kind of English. It might be messed up, but they can speak enough to communicate. They have learned it to that degree. And the system that we have here in America that has created enough chaos to cause a president and an ex-president and a third of the nation to buy into it. It comes from this, what we call normal. This is what we are. And when I talk to you about some things that you be praying about, like peace and prosperity and freedom and joy, you talk about your dreams coming true, which means but not limited to housing and education and stuff like this. All of a sudden we got a problem. You won't pay any attention to that. Why? Because that's what you've been taught. If you come to you speaking French, it might sound beautiful, might even sound melodic, but you don't understand a word. And so it's just that, wow, golly, it almost seems as if you're hopeless. If America, if your human race is just hopeless, that they really got to die off. One thing about French, if you speak English, if you want to learn French, you can. It requires a few steps, but you can. So if you wanted to make this a better society, I'm out there on the side of this house. Look at me. Trying to paint up on a roof. You know, while I'm doing that, I'm doing it because I got to do it. But I'm thinking about the professionals. And I'm not just talking about the professionals that do it for money. I'm talking about those that do it because they love to do it. It is their dream. Some people like to jump off mountains. Some people might want to put a T-shirt on and drop off the tallest building just to see if they can float. Well, there are people who would maybe not want to go to that extreme, but to paint a house, I mean millions of them. And I can see them doing it. I can see that looking so much more professional. I can see it being beautiful when they do it. Not when I do it. I'm just trying to keep it from looking so sad. And then you turn around and you got automobiles. You know, you got those problems. And you can't even trust the people you go to. They'll do anything. Not all of them. Yes, some of them. But in many cases, all of them to some degree would just rip you off if they can get away with it, meaning you don't know what you're talking about. You don't really talk anything. You're just asking them and putting your trust in them, just like you put them in those senators. Like you put in those Supreme Court additions that said they would not deal with the birth control issue and go straight in there and do it. Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. We're living in pure D hell. And the thing about it is, it's a language when you start speaking about the opposite that people don't understand. And the program has said you can do that when you die. You see the lies that's been perpetrated here in America. Brought to the world stage when they killed George Floyd. Just like, almost like Emmett Till. The world was listening. And promises were made that meant nothing. Oh, the George family might have gotten some money. But we the people, what do we get? A bunch of lies and a call for more police. For more police. Anybody talking about making sure everybody can get to college? Anybody thinking about that? But you can invest money in more police because you're creating a situation that's going to drive people down that path. And you want to put them in jail and try to trick us like you're doing something when you created the problem. And America can't see it, or if they do see it, they stand by and take it. It doesn't make any sense to me, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm just a little boy from Mississippi, come from the cotton fields like so many others. But for some strange reason, I can see through this thick darkness, and I'm surprised that you can't. I don't understand why you can't see this. And if you can see it, I can't understand why you won't do something about it. And I'm talking about something that works and benefits all of us, nothing that just hurts some. That's usually the path that we take. Every time we want to make some adjustments, we want to screw over somebody. Somebody say, well, you're screwing over the millionaires. Nobody's screwing over the millionaires. Everything that a millionaire can possess today, it will be even magnified beyond that in a heavenly place. Oh, yes, he'll lose a few things. You won't be looking up to him anymore because he's more important than you. You'll look up to them because they are just as important as you. And you're just as important as they are. And they won't have any sway over you except but the love that they generate throughout the process where you, my friends, can live as though you're in heaven. Look, I think I'm rambling now, so I'm going to cut it off. I wanted to say something. I said it. I'm going to play it back, see if I really said anything. Until next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.